This is WFYI News Now. It's March 25th, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, a project to transform historic downtown buildings into a new residential mixed-use development. A congressional committee issues a letter to Purdue claiming a national security interest in Chinese students and staff. And letter carriers demonstrate against proposals to privatize the U.S. Postal Service.
We come to your house every single day, and as letter carriers, we're proud of the work we do.
Those stories coming up. But first, a bill that would subsidize the development of small modular nuclear reactors is awaiting the governor's signature. It allows an Indiana utility to pass along some of the pre-construction costs to their customers, even if the plant never gets finished. So far, none of the ones in the U.S. have. One federally funded project was canceled in 2023 after more than a decade of work and nearly $9 billion in costs. The bill is one of several proposed this year to ensure AI data centers coming into Indiana have the massive amount of power they need to operate. Construction on a project to transform historic downtown buildings into a new residential mixed-use development is finally underway. WFYI's Jill Sheridan reports the Coal Motor project was first announced in 2022.
Developer 1820 Ventures was chosen for the project that revitalizes what was once a car factory and then a jail into a mixed-use development. The $84 million project will reimagine two historic buildings and create new public space along Market Street on the eastern edge of downtown Indianapolis. The development includes 213 residential units. 11 will be affordable as part of an agreement with the city. A special taxing district will provide $12 million for the project. The buildings will bring retail and restaurant space along Market and Washington Streets. A repurposed walkway will also stretch between the structures. The project aims to connect downtown with a historic Holy Cross neighborhood and create new walkable public space along an underused part of Market Street. I'm Jill Sheridan.
A congressional committee on China issued a letter to Purdue University last week claiming a national security interest in Chinese students and staff. WFYI's Zach Castle has more.
Republican Representative John Molinar from Michigan is the chair of the U.S. Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. In his letter, one of 6 sent to universities around the country, Molinar says Purdue has become financially dependent on foreign students, including Chinese citizens, and accuses the school of giving them unrestricted access to sensitive research and technology. He then asks Purdue President Meng Chang for detailed information on students, faculty, research, and partnerships with Chinese universities. Purdue has not yet released a statement and wasn't immediately available for comment. A Chinese official on Thursday called the action discriminatory, the Associated Press reported. The official urged the U.S. to protect the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese students. I'm Zach Castle.
This comes as the Trump administration slashed the workforce of the Civil Rights Division in the Education Department earlier this month. And for our final story today, letter carriers say they fear their jobs are at risk. They demonstrated over the weekend against proposals to privatize the U.S. Postal Service. WFIU's George Hale reports from a rally Sunday at the Monroe County Courthouse.
U.S. mail, not for sale! U.S. mail, not for sale!
Off-duty postal workers marched while ringing bells and carrying signs in support of the service and criticizing billionaire Elon Musk. Last week, the head of the USPS agreed to allow Musk's Department of Government Efficiency to help find, quote, further efficiencies at the service. The rally drew workers from Bloomington and nearby cities calling to protect the service.
We come to your house every single day, and as letter carriers, we're proud of the work we do.
Joshua Peterson is president of the South Central Indiana chapter of the National Union of Letter Carriers. The union is calling on U.S. Representative Aaron Houchin to sign on to a House resolution opposing efforts to privatize.
We need her support. We need as much support all across the country. The communities don't want privatized postal service.
Houchin's office didn't immediately return messages over the weekend. The Postal Service is the second largest employer in the U.S. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm George Hale.
And that's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Drew Daudelin and Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.